I finally figured out the porch and field dynamic because it is much better to be on the porch than in the field. So I am now updating my ongoing, long-lasting, epic saga in dealing with Smith & Wesson over a 6.86 Plus revolver. Now the original video, if you're interested, you can go look at it. I'm not going to reiterate everything here, but just to sum it up, December of 2015, I bought myself an early Christmas present. And the gun, I mean, the Smith & Wesson 6.86 Plus revolver is just such a wonderful revolver. So when it came into the store, it's just such an impressive revolver. And it was otherwise beautiful. The trigger was smooth. Everything was tight fitting. Just the way it's, just a very solid, well-made gun. But there was a problem with the barrel, as I described, being offline. And that is to say, when you look down from the rear sights through the front sights, of course the frame has grooves, lines, right along the top of it, as does the barrel, and those two are not aligned with each other. So it's obvious that they're out of alignment. Well, rather than leave the gun there and have them send me a replacement and risk them not actually having a replacement at the time, I decided to keep it and let Smith & Wesson serve their warranty. I figured that would be better for everybody. And I didn't feel at all, trepidatious about using Smith & Wesson's warranty service, given I'd never tried it before, and I just kind of trusted the name Smith & Wesson. I'm learning my lesson. Okay, so anyway, so I send the gun in right around Christmas. Okay, it's the Christmas holiday, yada yada, yammy, 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 and it took them 5 weeks to get the gun back to me. What they did to that gun took 5 seconds, literally. Maybe 10 minutes they looked at it. They spent about 10 minutes total on that gun, unpacking it, looking at it, putting it in a vise and twisting the barrel a little bit. And then they put it right back in the box and sent it back. And then in the card they sent with it, it says crooked barrel. Now they diagnosed it as crooked barrel. I said off-center barrel. And I'll get to that in a minute. When the gun came back, yes, the top of the barrel was a little bit, not even completely yet, but a little bit in line, a little bit more in line with the frame. But the problem now is the front sight is now leaning to the right, visibly. And then when you turn the gun around, of course, the barrel, the top of the barrel is flat and the top of the frame is flat. So now you have actually another way of checking the alignment of the barrel. You can just simply line up the flat top of the frame and the flat top of the barrel and see if these two lines are parallel to each other. And the line on the barrel was visibly angled. And to top it all off, the actual barrel alignment was still off to the left, even though it was leaning right. In other words, to get that barrel to appear, that's what I want to emphasize now. A lot of people are using the term canted barrel, crooked barrel. These are all words that were started by Smith & Wesson, from what I can see, because when I called in, I said it was an off-center barrel. And the guy on the phone was ready for me. The guy on the phone was ready to tell me, hey, okay, so you have a canted barrel. Well, we'll give it a twist, and if that's not enough, we're not, that's basically all we can do, okay? See, he already was ready to tell me what he wanted to tell me. And I said, well, that's nice, but okay, fine. I don't know what else to say at that time. So he sends it back, and here's this gun now. So I call in again. And some guy, again, he's ready for me. He already has all these words available. And he says, well, we can send you out a return label, but, it's going to keep your gun for a while. And, if there's nothing we can do, there's nothing we can do. And I answered with, I'm sure, because he wasn't an operator. He wasn't a secretary when you call customer service. I imagine he might have actually been a smith because he knew guns. He understood guns, not like the dipshits you usually talk to. And he said, he was ready for me. He said, there's nothing we can do. And I said, well, I'm sure then you sound like someone who knows a little bit about guns. So you're well aware of the epidemic of revolvers that Smith & Wesson has shat out over the last, 5 years, whatever. That shut him up. He never said another thing, sent me my label. Okay, that was the end of February at the time that I made the video, that part 1 to this. February. Here it is now, the end of May. 3 full months have gone by. During that 3 months, I was not contacted. I was not informed of what was going on. I have now a $600 gun out there in the world somewhere, and I have nothing, except for a receipt online, But there's nothing. You're just sit there and, whatever. after, I don't know what it was, at least 6 weeks, I get a call from Smith & Wesson. Actually, it was 5 to 6 weeks. I get a call from Smith & Wesson. And this was in March, April. This is in April. And she says, well, we've decided to give you a new gun. So they make you wait the requisite 6 weeks, 5 weeks to punish you, to discourage you from using their warranty and to use up your warranty time on the gun. So if you have to send it back again, it'll limit the number of times that you'll actually be able to send it in on warranty, and they would be required to pay for the shipping. That's part of their game. So they waste 6 weeks on purpose. They take your gun, they put a date on it, they set it on a shelf, and it cooks. Just sits there. And then finally on the due date, they pull the gun out, they look at it, and it takes them 5 seconds to determine what to do with it. In my case, I sent a letter with the gun explaining explicitly what it was, basically what I've told you. The barrel is not in alignment with the gun. Normally that would be a twist, but that's not the issue. Now that the gun has been twisted, adjusted, visibly leaning right, while yet still being off center to the left. I said the problem with this gun is not that it's canted. Those are your words. Crooked is your words. Clocked are your words. My word is off center. That is to say, the problem was not the barrel. The problem was the frame. The hole for the frame was drilled in the wrong spot. That is the same thing that happened to Yankee Marshall's revolver. I believe he had a 44 Magnum, a little snub, a Performance Center, if I'm not mistaken. And he had it wasn't a crooked barrel, I'm going to bet. It was an off-center barrel. All of the revolvers, it seems to me, of the last, maybe, I'm going to guess, okay? I'm going to guess between, let's say, 2009 and 2014, okay? Basically, you have to conclude that Smith & Wesson just shat out in all of their models these revolvers that were just framed, their frames were drilled wrong. And they have, now I don't know how that affects shooting. I mean, obviously the price of it doesn't allow for that kind of a mistake. But safety, I mean, my God, if the chamber is here and the hole is off, I mean, how much off can it be until it affects the trajectory of the bullet or even the safe firing of the round? I don't know. But they really fucked up. They fucked up bad, and they have had a tactic now to strong-arm people like me and you from getting your guns outright replaced. Now, they replaced mine. Now, I had to call in and figure out what's going on because nobody would tell me what's going on. Finally, when the woman said, okay, we've decided to replace your gun, that's all I heard. And she took my FFL. I wasn't thinking at the time I should have asked her for a tracking number or how this order would go forward. Of course, they don't say anything. They just hang up on you and you're done. And then weeks and weeks and weeks go by. I call in. Nobody knows who I am. I got to find an order number. The order number was for the original order, and I wasn't given an order for the new replacement phase of the order. Red tape, red tape, red tape. And so the last guy, finally I got a guy on the phone, as much of an asshole as he was, I knew he was a buttercup, and I knew I could break him and basically make him force me, escalate my call to somebody else. And I was about to go for the jugular when he read on a computer screen that my gun is being made. That when the woman put the order in for me to have a new gun, the reason it didn't get shipped out right away is because they don't have any. That they were actually waiting for a new generation to be produced. And so for that reason, rather than escalate my call and force them to give me a refund, I decided I'd actually like to see what their new ones look like. So their new production, if they fixed the damn barrel and all that stuff. So I decided, okay, I'm going to let them go. Not knowing how long it was going to take. Now this was the middle of April. And I was in the dark. I said, well, how long it's going to take? And he says, I don't know. And I said, what do you mean you don't know? I mean, we talking month? Years? What? And he says, well, it's proprietary. We can't share that information. I don't even know it myself. Okay? And I said, well, all right, I guess I'm going to go. Have a good day. He goes, okay. Hangs up on me. Okay, this is their customer service. But I held out because I thought, wow, if I could just get just one good revolver out of Smith & Wesson that's built well, I'll never have to deal with them again. I just want one of them, you know? So, and the used ones that I've been looking at, they're just not, I wanted a brand new 6.86 Plus with a 4-inch barrel and be done with it. And this thing will last me the rest of my life, and I'll never have to deal with those fuckers at Smith & Wesson again. So they sent it. And so let's go ahead and do a review of the latest generation as well as the 6.86 in general. Hold on, let me adjust the I'm gonna adjust the picture on the fly. I've never done it on the fly. I think I can do it. No, I can't. Hold on. Maybe I can. Exposure. All right. That looks a little better, right? All right. It's a little bright. I think it'll be a little whited out, but it'll be fine. So here's the gun. Just the gun itself. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Isn't that beautiful? You know, if you've never held this kind of a revolver, I mean, there's a lot of revolvers out there, but this revolver is exceptionally impressive. I mean, as much of a disbeliever I am in Smith & Wesson anymore, the reason I put up with their shit is because I wanted one of these. Just one, and then I'm happy, and I'll never have to deal with them again. So here it is. Beautiful gun. Just a beautiful, well-made gun. Pretty much everything on it has been done, you know, to expert or to really good quality standards as far as the way it's been built. You know, real tight chamber. Safety check. Fucking bitches. All right, safety check. Okay, now leave me alone about the safety check, will you please? I mean, just the way everything feels. You know, everything just beautiful, well made. You know, and if you do it right, it closes. Yeah, see. Yeah, this hasn't been polished yet. I frankly don't care about polished stainless steel. I kind of like it when it's got a little, you know, buffage to it. But I got some others coming in. I'm going to shine it up one good time, and then whatever, you know, abrasions I put on it, I'll leave on, because I think a good worn revolver looks good, so, or is appropriate. So yeah, so anyway, the revolver itself is a beautiful, beautiful gun. I mean, you know, like I said in my last video, I mean, if you're going to have one revolver, it ought to be a 357 Magnum, because then you go from 38, which is below 9mm, all the way past 9mm, 357. And 357 is the quintessential, you know, round for all kinds of shit, especially self-defense. So you've got a really great gun here. A 7-shot like this, you know, if you told me pick one handgun for the rest of your life, you can only have one handgun, I would be hard-pressed not to choose something like this. Maybe a 3-inch version of this, or perhaps I just keep the 4-inch. I think the 4-inch is the right general length, but I'd be hard-pressed not to choose this gun. 7 rounds of even 38 plus, man, like a quality 38 plus. I mean, I just can't figure out where the hell. I mean, yeah, sure, I like 10mm, and I like my 9mm Glock, but I mean, or my 40 cal Glock. I mean, I think this is an ideal handgun. Now, it's not a great carry piece. This thing weighs a ton. Other than that, man, I just can't see how limiting 7 rounds would be with speed loaders, you know? So it would be a difficult decision not to choose this gun for one gun to last the rest of your life. Dependable, you know, lasts forever. It's a very simple gun. It's not that difficult to work on. Plenty of ammo to choose from. Okay, and it's probably in the 357 Magnum package, probably one of the best guns out there. There's the Ruger, but the Ruger is a different animal. I would prefer a little bit more of a refined version like this, but okay, so there you go. So now let's just talk about this gun specifically. Look at that. It's in line. So how did they get the barrels in line now? Okay, all right, how's that? See, just in line. It's in line. I should have done this with the other gun. You could have seen it visibly, I'm quite sure. Okay? Yeah. Okay, whatever. So it's in line. So what did they do? They built new frames. These barrels weren't the problem. You know, the cylinder wasn't the problem. The ejector wasn't the problem. The trigger, all the other parts on the gun were not the problem. I mean, this is the best revolver trigger in the world, you know? I mean, that's a beautiful trigger. It was the frame. They literally had to rebuild frames. That's what it came down to. In fact, very interesting I noticed about this gun. I have a hypothesis that the barrels, although the barrels are great to begin with, I'm not complaining about the barrels. I believe they removed barrels off. I believe they started getting these things off the market, the ones they made bad. The barrels were good, so they just kept the barrel and put them on new frames, because the frame on this gun is actually a little bit more shiny than the barrel. And the cylinder is way more shiny than the barrel and the cylinder, the frame and the barrel. So I have no doubt they Frankenstein, which I'm happy. I have no problem with that. The barrel was fine. The rest of the parts, they really fucked up on the frames. That's my theory now. That these Smith & Wesson revolvers, there's a few significant reviews online that have been covered for years, that have covered this for years. Yankee Marshall, there was a guy that I guess started the whole conversation. I was looking at his videos. And then there's a lot more reviews of people having these issues with their revolvers from Smith & Wesson on the Smith & Wesson forum. Ooh, there's some heat on that forum. So yes, this was a common issue, and I think that everybody that has a Smith & Wesson revolver, and if you ever had it serviced during your warranty, and you had a crooked barrel, okay, and you sent it in, and they did a little twist, they played a little game with you, okay, and then they sent it back, and you didn't really know what you were looking at, and it was still a little off, but you thought, oh, I don't want to send it back in and twist it again. Maybe someday I'll get a Smith to do it and fix it right. There's such a problem to deal with. That's what they want you to do. You need to look at it up front. You need to look at the alignment between the flat top of the barrel and the flat top of the frame. Okay? Those two lines need to be parallel with each other. This gun is visibly aligned. It's at 12 o'clock. Regardless of how it lines up in view of the frame, the barrel itself is at 12 o'clock. And it is parenthetically in line with the frame. It wasn't twisted to be in line with the frame. The barrel was put in correctly, and it automatically is in line with the frame. That's the way a gun is supposed to be built. So if you've got one of these revolvers and they screwed you, that's what they did. They lied to you. They used the word canted, they used the word clock, they used the word crooked. They do this on purpose because they didn't want to admit what they actually had done. And they were doing it on purpose. You sent them a barrel that was installed properly at 12 o'clock, but was off center. You sent it to them and they said it was crooked and they twisted it. Now it's crooked to be in line. Okay? You need to raise hell. I hope that this video reaches Smith & Wesson revolver owners. Get your safe queens out. Get your paperwork out. And I mean it. Raise some hell. These people are fucking dirty. Smith & Wesson, their customer service and their people are fucking dirty people. They can go to hell. I know they make great guns. I know that a lot of people like the shields and, anybody that makes a good gun that is, a great choice for personal protection needs some respect, but they're a dirty fucking company and they deserve to have a tsunami of returns and complaints and make them take them back and do not accept a fix. Make them give you a brand new gun. I hope that was helpful to you.